I'm Mike. It's good to meet you all from the UK. So this month I've done the Exorcism Darts Challenge, and let's see, has this worked? Yeah, it worked. Cool. So the task was kind of like quite a long description of what you had to do. Like you had to get some darts, and they're going to hit a board, and you have to get the points based on where it is on the board. The main thing which stood out is kind of this quote here, where they're going to give us some Cartesian coordinates. And I completely, that whooshed over my head really quickly about how important that is. And I just kind of jumped in. So I quickly wrote like some slightly more like me friendly notes, and where it was, okay, we're going to be given coordinates and we have to return these scores, which I'm not sure if anyone else does that, where they like to simplify specs, but that was what I did. So I started off by just solving X, and so not two coordinates, one coordinate. So I kind of went through and went, okay, if the score is, or the radius is bigger than the score we've been given, then we'll just return that score. So that was a really bad analogy, but I created a score to map ratio, and I was kind of happy with that. Like it worked from that perspective, so I was very, very happy at that point. So I thought, okay, why don't I just do that for both of them? And I just figure out which one is the biggest and just return the score for that. Would that work? Um, so it did actually work initially, because I chucked in coordinates like x equals 9 and y equals 0, x equals 1 and y equals 1, and x equals 0 and y equals 2, which weren't very good like test data, I guess. But yeah, so I kind of shot myself in the foot, and I ran the test suite and nothing was passing, and I was like, what is going wrong? That was not the right solution. So I researched for that term Cartesian coordinate, and the first thing which came up was a Wikipedia page with a picture of a circle on it. And then I remembered how circles work, that if you have like maybe a diagram with maybe a coordinate of 9 and -9, or 9 and 9, it will just like be outside of the first shell, I guess, or the first circle here. So I was like, okay, now I get why my taking the biggest coordinates approach wouldn't actually work, which was quite fun. And I realized what we needed to do was actually solve like this line here. That's the distance I care about if I was to kind of do the comparison. And I was like, how on earth am I going to solve like that line? That's even harder. That's like, what mathematical equation do I use for that? And then I realized I had like both of the x and the y kind of drew a nice triangle. And I was like, this is ringing bells. Where have I seen this before? And yeah, it was Pythagoras' theorem. And I was like, at that point, I was like, oh no, it's really easy to solve that now. Now I know that this is like kind of the bit of math I need to solve that. So to do like Pythagoras' theorem in like Ruby, I found there's a math squirt method, and then to do like the square root, you just do the asterisk twice, and that works quite nicely. That kind of gave me what I needed. I found out yesterday that there's actually a hypot method for getting the hypotenuse in Ruby as well, which is I thought was quite cool. I didn't even realize that. The first Stack Overflow thing just showed me the other example, so I was quite happy with that. I thought that was very nice. So my encode ended up looking like this. I wasn't like crazy happy about it in the end. Like I don't really like how I've set the initializer. I did play around with in the initializer calculating the hypotenuse there, and I didn't really like how I've set the score map. It feels very like if you were to add a new one and you put it in the wrong order, it would just break. I don't think the score is like the most obvious, but that said, all the tests passed, so I was pretty happy with that. So I guess that's what mattered in that case. So and that's the end. That's all I've got. Has anyone got any questions or thoughts? Alrighty.
That
Cool.
was great. Thanks, Mike.
Fantastic.
I remember having a similar problem at uni as well, where Cartesian coordinates came up, and I was like, it's probably not important. And then that's right. No, it wasn't. Sorry, it wasn't at uni. It was I had to make some control for something, and I needed to figure out an angle of where. Yeah, and it turns out really important, crucial, in fact, one might
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I had. I just whooshed over the most important bit, which would have made it really easy, and yeah, just put it away. But yeah, luckily I figured it out in the end, so that was good. We ended up with a good talk, as opposed to me like crying for about 10 minutes.
Cool. Thanks, Mike.